Good morning, and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Society of Schenectady. I hope everyone had a wonderful holiday on Thursday. I am Geoff Lundy. Any pronoun works for me. Stephanie Maslanka, she or they, will be leading the service this morning. Wherever you are on your journey of finding truth and meaning, whether you arrive joyous or with a heavy heart, we are grateful that you have chosen to be here this morning.
And now, we settle in more fully for our service. This morning, we kindle our chalice with these words from Reverend Nathan Ryan, Senior Minister of the Unitarian Church of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. A renewed hope for this world. Be it real or a metaphor, whatever is in your backpack or your briefcase or your purse that you've brought into this sanctuary that is weighing you down, leave it behind. Whatever you are carrying that is keeping you distracted or caught up in shame or guilt or hopelessness, leave it behind. If you need it, it will be there when we are done. But for this hour, just let it go. Come into this place with open hearts. Come into this place with the soul remembered how to be tender again. Come into this place with a renewed hope for this world. Come into this place ready to build a world we've always been worthy of and have always dreamed of. The theme for this month has been grief and gratitude. And today, Geoff and I, when we were working on the service together, decided that there's another G that always seems to filter in, and it's guilt. Guilt with grief and guilt with gratitude. So, do you know anyone? What is guilt? Like, what's a feeling for guilt for you? I'm sorry, grief. What's a feeling for grief? Sadness. That's what I think of too. And for uh, gratitude, I couldn't hear you. Joy, thankful, right? And what about guilt? Anger, yeah, dread, shame. The prolific author Brene Brown has a lot to say about guilt and shame. And if you've never read it, boy, look up some of those essays. They're amazing. So today I'm going to tell you an original story. Do you know what that means? That means so I'm a little nervous. I'm going to tell you an original story today. And it's called Star Stella. If there was ever a time that the bright star Stella wanted a place to hide, it was now. Yes. It was usually her job to shine bright in the beautiful sky on crisp, cold winter nights and sweet, warm summer evenings. But the star had no desire to shine anymore. Stella knew she was supposed to, but she felt dull and dim and sad and lonely. It was hard to shine when she felt that way. You see, Stella was a beautiful star in the Milky Way galaxy, shining on Earth in all her beauty. And people would look up to the sky and say, "There she is, the North Star." They would use Stella to find their way. "We have to go this way to go home." Or, "Look in the sky. That way is to find the Big Dipper." And up until now, Stella had always done her job happily. Until last week, when Stella's best friend Howard lost his twinkle. Howard had been another star in the galaxy, always shining bright. happy to be there in that big, beautiful, dark blue sky every night, rain or shine, sparkling out front or hidden behind heavy clouds. Howard and Stella thought that they would be best friends forever. But stars, just like living things, don't last forever. When their time comes, their twinkle goes out. No one expected Howard's twinkle to go out last week. No one expected Howard to be gone, especially not Stella. And it was very sad for those still left behind who had come to love and depend on Howard's twinkle. Stella kept trying to shine bright every night, but she was just so sad that Howard was gone. She had so many beautiful memories of sharing the night skies with Howard. She remembered the 4th of July when the two of them tried to shine brighter and brighter so that none of the fireworks could outshine them. Howard had been amazingly sparkly that night. Even in her sadness, Stella smiled at that memory. And then she felt even worse. How could she be happy in that memory with Howard gone? How could she not do her job and shine as brightly as she could? Knowing that some people down on earth were still depending on her. Stella didn't know what was worse, her sadness over Howard being gone, or the guilt she felt about not being able to shine so bright. It was all overwhelming, and Stella just wanted to hide away. All the other stars around Stella, they were sad too, and they knew what a special friend Howard had been to her. So they decided to take turns offering help when they could. Sometimes that meant listening to Stella's stories about Howard, or sometimes it was just twinkling together, each being only as bright as they could be. So many emotions for one star. It's a good thing she has friends there that were trying to help her. Have you ever felt like you couldn't really shine or didn't want to? I know I have. Have you ever felt a friend or a family member that was sad and you held their hand or offered a hug or just asked, "What can I do?" Those are all those feelings we're talking about: grief and gratitude and guilt. And it's okay to feel them and to work really hard at not feeling that shame that comes with them. Isn't it good that Stella had friends that would love her and want her to shine? It's like having all these wonderful people here. They help me shine all the time.
Let us take some time now to sit together in stillness. You might place your feet on the floor or towards the floor with your hands resting in your lap or wherever they are most comfortable. Closing your eyes or watching the chalice flame can help us get quiet and centered. With each breath in and each breath out, we can relax and let go a little more of our tension. Allow our muscles to soften, our breath to slow down, and our minds to quit racing about the day's business and focus more on this moment and this now. Here is a short prayer by Thich Nhat Hanh. In gratitude and compassion, I bow down and transmit my energy to those I love. All the energy I have received, I now want to transmit to my father, my mother, everyone I love, and all who have suffered and worried because of me and for my sake. I know I have not been mindful enough in my daily life. I also know that those who love me have had their own difficulties. They have suffered because they were not lucky enough to have an environment that encouraged their full development. I want all of them to be healthy and joyful. I pray all ancestors in my blood and spiritual families will focus their energies toward each of them to protect and support them. I am one with those I love.
For our reading today, we offer A Blessing for Grief by Katie Savani Gelfand, Director of Religious Exploration for the First Unitarian Universalist Church of New Orleans. She writes, "May you be tender and gentle with yourself and be cared for by those who will envelop you with compassion and presence. May you know that there is so much beauty in your grief, especially when it feels messy. May you know that the depth of your grief is a measure of the love that your heart is capable of. May you cry an ocean of tears and never fear the tides of your grief. May you scream and rage and emote your pain in safe and supported spaces. And may you never be judged for the power of your expression. May you be comforted by a blanket wove of love. When you feel the harsh, impalpable illusions of aloneness, may you remember in the moments of despair that all life comes from the womb of sacred darkness, and that something new will be born from this void. May you all allow yourselves to change. May the pain of your loss awaken you to the pulse of your humanity. May you have faith in the crucible of your soul to transform this grief into a numinous song that brings you closer to your own divinity. May your experience of loss expand your capability to extend compassion to others. May you eventually wear your scars as luminous gems on the unfurled wings of your heart. And may you always remember the preciousness of life."
I've mentioned before that I was not a particularly well-behaved child. I was adventurous, rebellious, self-centered, inquisitive, disruptive, curious, hated responsibility, and craved being the center of attention. All while secretly harboring low self-esteem and a huge dread of criticism. Except by degree, perhaps a pretty much normal kid. I also bounced between a tunnel vision fixation, which made me oblivious to my surroundings, or having the attention span of a highly caffeinated squirrel distracted by everything about me. An analyst probably would have made a few bucks off my parents if that had been readily available, and it quite possibly would have helped. The real problem is I didn't outgrow these traits. After high school, I got jobs, set off on my own, crashed and burned, returned to my parents, struck out on my own, crashed and burned, struck out on my own, a pattern which repeats itself for years. My parents never really knew where I was or what I was doing or what shape I'd be in when I did make an appearance, even when I was boarded with them. They never knew when my next phone call would come, what trouble I might have brought on myself. And through all this, they supported me as best they knew how, patiently hoping I'd addled up one day. In my late 20s, I made an effort. I got into a serious relationship. A couple of geographic cures later, got steady employment, got loans with mom and dad's help, which I paid off by staying steadily employed, got married, bought a car, bought a house with mom and dad's help, and crawled indifferently through life for about 20 years. I didn't keep up with family and with friends. I rarely called because all my troubles seemed behind me. Then the marriage fell apart. I held on to my job desperately, but my bills exceeded my ability to pay. Now I called. Mom and Dad bailed me out again, enough to keep me afloat, while all the old demons came back out of their not very careful hiding and took over, until even I had had enough. I admitted I had problems. I reached out for help, and I received it. After a year or two in recovery, I started making serious amends. Sincere apologies, some better received than others. Mom and Dad, of course, with some reserve, graciously accepted these apologies and hopeful assurances that things had changed. Even my siblings started to believe, after a while longer, that I was finally heading in a good direction. Just about this time, Dad's health took a downturn. He suffered from Parkinson's, which severely impacted his physical activities. Then the medications for Parkinson's started to erode his mental abilities. He developed hallucinations. The medication for the hallucinations led to dementia. I was present. I was available. I could hold space for him and for my mother and my sister, who shared the burden of caring for him. Coordinating with my other siblings, I used all my vacation time to help out, to give Mom and Jackie, my youngest sister, a break from their ordeal, to support them as they made the tough decisions that needed to be made. I was there when Dad died. I was relieved, more than grieved, that his ordeal was over. A few years later, while visiting Mom, it was close to my youngest brother's 50th birthday. He, Mom, and I were chatting, and Gino, who deals with his own set of issues, commented that he hadn't expected to live past 33. Unfiltered, unguardedly, I stated I hadn't expected to live past 30. Mom turned, looked at me, and flatly stated, I didn't think you were going to live past 30. Held my gaze for one beat and continued her conversation with Gino. I stood there, mute and stunned. I had been given the gift of a glimpse of the ordeal I had put my parents through for almost 30 years. All the years of wanting a phone call or dreading a phone call, every siren that sounded or what someone else was going to communicate. Mom was a saint. She had waited until I was mature enough to handle the burden of guilt that I had bought, that they had paid for. Over the ensuing years, Mom and I chatted a good bit about that. Not that moment, but about guilt and forgiveness. That the past is done, gone, unchangeable. That promises are only hopeful statements. That each day is a new opportunity to be caring, to fulfill obligations and duties, or fail to do so. Each day, I confirm or deny the amends I've made. I never got to have that conversation with Dad, who was the committed worrier in our family, thinly hiding behind a facade of stoicism. I am certain the conclusion would have been much the same, but not identical. I truly wish I had had that talk. So each day I strive to be the mended me I claim to not be the cause of unnecessary grief. There's a saying, within the 12 promises of Alcoholics Anonymous. We will not regret the past, nor wish to shut the door on it. I have not yet mastered that. I fail sometimes. This past summer, I apologized to my sister. I had told her I would be there at a certain time, after a 5-hour drive, to take her out to dinner, after a detour to visit some cousins and an aunt who was in a nursing home. That side trip took hours longer than I expected. I rushed and hurried and got to Jackie's hours late. I didn't take her to supper. She'd eaten leftovers, sitting in her living room, waiting on me, waiting on a phone call. And I have a phone that can call from nearly everywhere. Only a few weeks back, I had an emergency pop up right at the end of the workday. I had bicycled to work, my then newest toy, and I got into tunnel vision and didn't take the minute it would have taken to call Carolyn or text her that I'd be late. I didn't ask a friend I worked with there to call or text her that I'd be late. I rushed on, did not solve the problem, hopped on the bike and pedaled home at 4:45, 40 minutes late. Carolyn sits in the living room and informs me that I'd taken at least 5 years off her life, as she dreaded a phone call, listening for sirens. My excuses were lame even to me. It hits hard, as it ought to, as it needs to, when I get complacent. I spent the next couple weeks texting each time I left work, until she told me to stop and simply call or text if I'm going to be late. She trusts that I will do so.
From the Reverend Charles A. Howe, who is now among the ancestors. May we go forth from this place thankful for the life that sustains and renews us, and open to the grace that surrounds and surprises us. May we go forth from this place with openness and thanksgiving.